just like as a last question, I really wanted to get your feeling about, because we talked about this earlier, about this little picture I saw about having this Airbnb and this Uber in the big places, and then you have all these micro hyper local marketplaces that just live under those, or just, in hyper local markets. What's your like vision about marketplaces and where we're heading towards with communities and marketplaces?
Yeah, so definitely what we, as mentioned, like what we really want to do is to democratize the sharing economy a bit, and by bringing this marketplace technology accessible to everyone. Because what we are seeing today is that there are lots of amazing companies like Airbnb, Uber, TaskRabbit, Deliveroo, made some amazing innovations, but also there are certain societal problems like caused by the fact that these big companies kind of like need to make lots of profit and grow really fast, and sometimes like it has caused situations where we are not super happy about. Like there are people who are like living in pretty challenging conditions. Obviously Uber is also facing some lawsuits on here, like saying people like, okay, are these employees or independent contractors and so on. The way we see it is that it should not be that these platforms like have a monopoly position where they can like fully dictate the rules because they have this huge network effect and all that. And basically what we are trying to do is that if people are not happy with the rules of a particular platform, they can essentially vote with their feet. Like they can go create their own. Like what if the cab drivers in New York decide, let's build our own kind of like a Uber and set it up as a co-op or like a social enterprise or like whatever, and like kind of like which means obviously that the bigger part of the profit will go to them, so which would eat in the Uber's margin. So essentially, as Jeff Bezos would say, that your margin is my opportunity. And like I think that that's really true also in sharing economy. So I think many of these platforms today are extracting quite a lot, and I think we are going to a direction where the transaction costs are going down, and we're going to see these platforms extract a lot less. So Brad Burnham from Union Square Ventures likes to talk about skinny platforms, and for his vision. And the way he sees that this kind of like a same thing has happened a bit with something like internet. So actually, in the beginning, like internet, it was really controlled by big corporations. They would be building their private version of internet and having monopoly, but then you would have these open protocols and which would kind of like democratize the internet, and it would so no longer like belong to everybody. So the way we see it is kind of like it's a bit the same. The sharing economy in itself, it's super beneficial, but what we really want to see is that there are all these locally owned, locally governed marketplace businesses that are extremely successful, but at the same time, they treat people working through them a bit more fairly and distribute more profits to them also, and extract a bit less.
Awesome. So basically, you would say it's the same thing like Craigslist, like Airbnb did to Craigslist, where they, Craigslist had everything, and they were just, taking some little parts of Craigslist and just doing it a lot better. Do you feel that's the direction we're heading, where these big players are, they can't do everything, so the little players are just stealing, the fruits?
Yeah, totally. And obviously, one big part I see is that. Like one marketplace VC, Matthias Ockenfeld used this term called disaggregation. So essentially, what he means with that is he actually used the unbundling of Craigslist picture as an example. So whereas kind of Craigslist offers this, and similar platforms offer this all the categories, but then the experience is kind of like a bit poor. Then you kind of like pick one category, or even like one kind of like a subcategory or some like segment under that category even, and then you build a really great experience for that particular group. So usually that means if you think about something like building a marketplace for like people like dog trimmers or kind of like a dog groomers. So essentially they might have like actually some really specific needs for CRM tool for all their dog grooming needs. And so usually what we see is that these marketplaces combine building tools for the service providers and then the marketplace part that matches the supply and the demand. And then you end up with pretty unique workflow that also like allows you to offer a lot more value to both parts in the transaction. Obviously, that also allows you to kind of like charge higher fees in the sense to kind of like build a sustainable business out of that. But also at the same time, that really means that kind of like the way we see it now, we have also some big platforms like Thumbtack, and they kind of like have all the different service categories there. But what I think will happen is that folks like Thumbtack and List, like they will be disrupted by these platforms that focus on specific vertical and then handle that vertical and really well and offer really good services for those people.
So basically, Thumbtack doing everything, and then suddenly a smaller player comes in and says, "Okay, you guys do cleaning a little bit. We'll just do it very well," basically.
Exactly.
And like, because when I was talking to founders of marketplaces, they said, you know what? The reason why we go very broad is because we want, and our investors, they want to increase the customer lifetime cycle of, people coming onto the platform and like, oh, there's a gardener here, awesome. Oh, there's actually also, somebody who can repair my, fence, and that increases the customer lifetime cycle. Don't you see like a little problem there?
Yeah, and obviously there's definitely like some industries where it does help to kind of like if you can kind of like then get the other. On the other hand, like the problem with like platforms like Thumbtack is that because, for instance, Thumbtack, because they have so many categories, like they are not able to control the transaction process. So once you have encountered one provider, the next time you will not be using Thumbtack anymore because you're happy with this person. But then if you think of something like Upwork, like which provides this whole process and tools for actually the freelancer to kind of like a charge from the company or individual who is using the services of the freelancer. That means that all recurring purchases that you make from the same person, you will still go through Upwork because it offers like all those services that's like a specific target group. And I think that the marketplaces that can like offer that kind of services as part of the transaction are able to capture the recurring purchases. So if you think about home cleaning, if you think about hairdressing, if you think about the dog grooming, when you have found the provider, you'll be using that particular provider over and over again. So definitely there is the issue of kind of like then in the other category, that means that you don't have as much leverage as those people find other categories. But on the other hand, you can get the same customer come all over and over again, just to book from the same provider.
Definitely. And it kind of brings me to my next point, because I really see the power of reviews in 2018. There's even companies that are specializing on distributing reviews over the couple of sites they have. Like imagine a world where, you have not 700, but like, let's say 700,000 people on the Sharetribe platform, but all different owners basically, because they're all different. But imagine I'm traveling to another city and there's a Sharetribe platform. How do you see the future of like reviews? Like, am I able to take my reviews from one platform and plug it into another one, or how does that work?
Yeah, that's definitely something that we are hoping to be able to offer services like that. Obviously, we are pretty uniquely positioned in a way that kind of like we have access to lots of data, and we can use that in a lot of ways to benefit our users, benefit our customers. And one of the big problems obviously has indeed been that it's still too difficult today for people to transfer the reputation from one platform to another. And obviously we would have a good solution there. We could also do some, like, I can totally see us doing some cross promotion. If there's one platform that you could, and that could obviously be part about like solving this issue of like getting, because like let's say if you have both hairdressers and dog groomers in the same platform, all right, then after the person has booked the dog grooming, they will see the hairdressing. But okay, that's a different process. But instead, if you have like two platforms focused on these two things, and then they do cross promotion, and then also that kind of when people move across this platform, they can take their reputation, they can do their profiles easily, kind of like take the data with them and like join another platform. Then I definitely see there's a way more, see this as a more likely future than like one platform just capturing it all.